Hello and welcome back to Will It Work? Today we're going to see if we can play actual retail Nintendo 64 cartridges on the iPhone itself. Now, a couple of things have come together in the last year or so to make this possible. The first thing I want to talk about is this device here. It is a Nintendo 64 ROM dumper called Joey from a company called Benvin. Now, ROM dumpers have been around for decades, long before USB, and you plug your cartridge into them and then plug it into your computer and use some special software to extract the ROM to your hard drive. Oftentimes, this software was written by the hobbyist who created the ROM dumper. Regardless, you're not going to find that in the iPhone App Store. So what makes the Joey different? Well, the Joey presents the Nintendo 64 cartridge as a FAT32 USB flash drive. No special software needed. You just plug it into your computer and drag the ROM file over to your hard drive. Now, when I first learned of this, I thought, that would actually probably mount okay in the iPhone, but there was no emulators allowed in the App Store. Since that time, Apple has now allowed emulators, and I thought, I'm going to pigeonhole this for another day, and today is that day, so let's get started. Okay, so let's take a look at the Joey itself. This is the cartridge slot here. If you're wondering why there is this controller port there, it unfortunately does not turn a Nintendo 64 controller into a USB controller. It is there to extract the game save files from the memory card. And on the Nintendo 64, the memory cards are stored on the underside of the controller. So that's what that is for. On the back is just a USB-C port. And we're going to try this out, and we're going to try, I've got two games here, Donkey Kong 64 and Star Wars Episode 1 Racer, and I've got two emulators on the iPhone. We're going to check out Delta and RetroArch. Okay, so let's start with the Donkey Kong 64 cartridge. I'll just plug it into the Joey here, and we'll plug the other end into this iPhone, which is a Lightning iPhone, so I have a little Lightning to USB adapter. If you have a newer iPhone with USB-C, you don't have to fool with that adapter. You could just have a USB-C to USB-C cable. Okay, let's fire up Delta. I have no games in my library, so we're going to hit Add Game at the top. Choose Files. We're going to go to the root of the Files app, and there is the cartridge. It's called Benvin, after the company. And right there is the ROM, Donkey K Z64. So we'll click on that. We'll hit Open up here. Now, don't let the USB-C connection fool you. This is very slow, and it takes about 50 seconds to import this 32 megabyte ROM file. Now, basically, you'll be copying it into Delta's game folder, and you won't need the cartridge anymore after this point. You'll be able to just play it on your phone whenever you need to. If this was an Atari 2600 cartridge, most of which were 2 to 8 kilobytes, this would be pretty much instantaneous, but at 32 megabytes off a cartridge, this is kind of slow. So we'll just wait a few more seconds here. All right, there we go. Let's fire it up and see. Now, I have noticed that you should wait about 5 to 10 seconds before you launch it after an import. It looks like it's done copying, but it's not really, and you can corrupt the ROM file. But if you just wait 5 or 10 seconds the first time, you'll be fine. Oh, that looks pretty good. Now, when I turn on my controller here, the on-screen control should disappear. And I've got a Switch Pro controller, so we're keeping it all in the family. Perhaps the greatest rap song of all time. Yep, seems to be working just fine. This is great. Dumped it right onto the iPhone. All right, let's try Star Wars Episode 1 Racer and another emulator called RetroArch. Okay, so let's put in the Star Wars cartridge. Plug it into the phone. Now, RetroArch is a much broader emulator. It emulates more consoles, a lot of computers. It gives you a lot more control, but it is a lot more complicated to use. If you're just wanting to play some old Nintendo games, Delta is probably your best bet, but if you want all the consoles and all the computers and all the control, then you're going to find value in RetroArch. So let me fire that up. And in here, we're going to say load content. We're going to hit open. And it remembered the BenView as the root, so it's already gone inside of the ROM dumper, but as you can see, we now have Star Wars instead of Donkey Kong. So let's just tap that. And now we will wait again. Okay, here we go. Get rid of the on-screen controls there. Looking good so far. We'll try it out here for a few seconds, but I promise you I will be lousy at this. But it's working great. So yes, you absolutely can use retail Nintendo 64 cartridges with your iPhone. I think this is great. No desktop computer needed. And on that note, RetroArch is also available on the Apple TV, and you could do the same thing with the Apple TV. Now, I know you're thinking, wait a minute, you can't plug in USB drives to the Apple TV, and you're right. RetroArch will actually throw up a little web service and give you an IP address, and you can punch this into any web browser and you'll get a rudimentary file uploader. And this works on Safari on the iPhone. So you could actually point it right to the BenView Joey ROM dumper and upload the ROM to your Apple TV right from your iPhone. Again, no desktop computer needed. And I think it's great that we've gotten to a point where these type of consumer devices can do all these things and we don't even need a Windows PC or a Mac to do it on. Just the way technology is moving forward, and I think it's awesome. Anyway, that's going to do it for this video. As always, if you're enjoying my channel, please like and subscribe. I'll be back soon, but that's all for now. Take care.